Welcome to the newest episode of Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. I'm your host, Jason Fraley, picking the brains of the top filmmakers, musicians, and artists of our time. Season 4 of the TV series Genius, subtitled MLKX, premieres tomorrow night on National Geographic before streaming Friday on Hulu and Disney+. I spoke with executive producers Gina Prince-Bythewood and Reggie Bythewood about juxtaposing the lives of Martin Luther King Jr. and Malcolm X, as well as memories of Gina directing Love and Basketball and The Woman King. Hey, Gina Prince-Bythewood and Reggie Bythewood. Hey, thanks so much for joining us on WTOP in DC.
Thank you. Good morning.
We're talking because you are executive producers of Season 4 of Genius, titled MLK/X, of course, Martin Luther King and Malcolm X. It premieres on Nat Geo on February 1st, and then the next day on February 2nd, you can catch it streaming on Hulu and Disney+. Now, so much I want to ask you about it. Before we dive in, I have to thank you first about The Woman King. It came out right as my wife was diagnosed with cancer, and she's been fighting and turning a corner, thank God. But that movie, when seeing all these badass women, she was like, I can do anything. And I put it as my #1 movie of the year last year. So I just wanted to memories of putting that together. And have you heard a million stories of just how it inspired people?
Oh, that's amazing. And yeah, I mean, it inspired us when we were doing it, and we were hoping that it would, touch a chord, allow women to see themselves differently than they have. And it was a really beautiful experience.
Yeah, and I think Julie Dash, Daughters of the Dust, put it in her top 10 for the Sight and Sound poll. That has that's high praise from a legend. Was she a touchstone of yours?
Absolutely. Yeah, she went to UCLA Film School, and so her success and early success gave me somebody to look up to and aspire to.
Oh, yeah. Well, we could talk all day. Viola was amazing. But we're here to talk Genius, MLKX. Tell me why it was important to tell both sides of that coin rather, the previous seasons, what was it? Einstein and Aretha, and I can't remember who the other one was. But yeah, to tell both because I guess, both obviously civil rights figures, both assassinated, and Spike Lee juxtaposed both their quotes, the nonviolence versus any means necessary at the end of Do the Right Thing. Yeah, why was it important to do both?
I mean, there's just been a narrative that we have to choose between Malcolm and Martin. And in this narrative, our offering is that we need both of them, two sides of the same coin. So we're very inspired to do it for many reasons. And one in particular is just what we see going on in the country now, like this urgency to really dig into the people that have really put America on the road to greatness, Malcolm, Martin, Betty, and Coretta. And so we really wanted to do it in a way that just felt not like a museum piece, but just current and urgent.
Nice, absolutely. And what do you think we like you said, we've known them as the two sides of the same philosophical coin. But what do you think we'll learn about them through these episodes that maybe we didn't know before, or maybe things that maybe we knew a little, but it really will expand out on our knowledge?
Well, it was our intention to certainly take them off the T-shirts and make them tangible and real. And to do that, it was to show the full breadth of their humanity, to not just focus on the iconic moments that everybody knows, but the stuff underneath, the things that were going on between the men, between the women, their relationships, how they inspired each other, the tough things that they went through and were there for each other. And so to do that, you take them off the pedestal, you show both their greatness and the things they struggled with. And when you see that, then you realize that, okay, I can achieve greatness too. I don't have to be perfect.
I love it. And then let's go into the actors a little bit. So obviously Martin is played by Calvin Harrison Jr. of Chevalier last year, and Malcolm is being played by Aaron Pierre, who was in the Underground Railroad, the Barry Jenkins thing. How did you, and working with them as actors, how did you try to make it different from, like, I don't know, David Oyelowo was so good in Selma, or Denzel Washington in Malcolm X, or Kingsley Benadir in One Night in Miami? They were so iconic in those roles. So how do you try to make it different?
All right.
Who wants to take it?
I think that one of the things that we were really excited about was just showing the youthfulness of these characters. Martin was 26 years old when he led the Montgomery bus boycott. So it's really fun to just look at the younger versions of these actors, of these characters, And there's been brilliant interpretations, and what our cast does no less brilliant. I'm very excited for what they've done and the contemporary aspect they brought to these characters.
And then, of course, the late Ron Cephas Jones of This Is Us, and just so many great roles. It passed away the end of last year. Here is Elijah Muhammad. Just talk about, I mean, that's a famous character in Malcolm's story, but yeah, just the idea that one of getting to watch one of his last roles, that's reason to tune in there.
Mhm. He's a brilliant actor, and we were so blessed to have him as a part of this. He inspired everybody on set. He embodied a character that is so specific, and he did it in such a beautiful way. He was passionate about telling the story, and we're just honored that he was a part of it.
Absolutely. Well, so you know a thing or two about, as filmmakers, if you were going to direct it, but instead, let's dish on the directors that, you were executive producing here. I know episode 1 is Channing Godfrey Peoples, and Crystal Roberson handled episode 2 through 6, and then Director X on 7 and 8. Yeah, just dish on them, brag on them a little bit, maybe their contrasting visual styles.
Channing is somebody who, I mean, we loved her first film, Miss Juneteenth. Very special. We knew
Great
she was
movie.
great with actors, great visually, could tell a great story. And we wanted, for the first hour of this, we want this to feel like an 8-hour film, and that was going to be setting the tone. So we felt like we wanted to get a filmmaker to do something special with it. And yeah, she knocked that first one out of the park and was involved in setting the cinematic look and also really performances as well.
Yeah, and Crystal was our producing director as well, and a co-EP on the show. And she's just really laid so much of the foundation and groundwork as well for our cast, and just was the glue and really kept everything together along with our showrunners, Raphael Jackson, Damian Macedone. And I think what really set all of our directors apart was just investing in the character arcs, the character work, taking time to just let the characters unfold and just getting really great performances. And then we have Director X.
Yeah, Director
Director
X,
X.
he did 7 and 8, and those, I mean, every hour is special and iconic. He brought a real tension um, to the narrative, and everyone had a slightly different visual flair, but again, we wanted it to all feel like one 8-hour film, and they did that.
Yeah, and I think that's the other thing that just feels, different here is we don't even use the term episodes. We say 8-hour film. And so
Nice.
we'll say hour 1, hour 2, because that's really what we reach for. And while there's different nuances with the directors, it does feel like this one sort of full story.
I love it. And ironically, if you'd put it in theaters as an 8-hour movie, they'd be like, oh, Scorsese, it's too long. But if you chop it up in episodes on TV, we binge it probably 3 times in a row. I don't know.
Right,
Society's
Exactly.
weird like that. But
right.
congratulations on making it. Final seconds. I think we're coming up against the clock. But I do have to say, Gina, your debut film, Love and Basketball in 2000, just got inducted in DC into the Library of Congress's National Film Registry. I mean, Monica and Quincy was like a rom-com love story. And I think you two might have gotten married like 2 years before the movie came out or something like that, if I'm right. But yeah, talk about how it's grown from just something that was like a rom-com thing, sports movie that we all loved with those two characters, Player for Your Heart, all that stuff. So suddenly now it's in the film registry. Like that's like a tidal wave that just you're an all-timer now.
Yeah, it's, obviously honored that it went into the registry. It's, that's something that you can aspire to. It means it's there forever. It was the first film, and it's a beautiful thing that it's had this longevity. Um, it's a film that spoke to both Reg and I in terms of relationships within there with parents, and it was just a beautiful journey.
Awesome, awesome. And we really appreciate everything, and best of luck. Reg, I think we spoke with you on Swagger a couple months or a year ago. And then
Mm.
Gina, you're doing great work. Obviously, we've mentioned Woman King and everything else. So just keep up the great work.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, everyone, tune in. It's Genius MLKX. Premieres February 1st on National Geographic on TV, and then you can catch it streaming the next day, February 2nd, Hulu and Disney Plus. Appreciate it.
Take care.
Thanks so much for listening to Beyond the Fame with Jason Fraley. Our theme music is Scott Buckley's Clarion. Remember to give us a 5-star rating if you like what you hear. We'll see you next time.